Welcome to Small Bites, Sound Bites, a midweek segment of Food for Thought podcast where I share short, succinct, thoughtful responses to typical questions, myths, and misconceptions related to plant-based eating, veganism, and animal protection. You can get written transcripts of this podcast by going to joyfulvegan.com/donate. Vegetarians and vegans are breaking tradition by not eating turkey at Thanksgiving. I don't know if you've ever heard this. I have heard it for the last several decades. Romanticized notions rather than historical facts are what inform our consciousness about Thanksgiving. Although we cannot be 100% certain, although we have dug into the sources that are available to us, it's most likely that the animals eaten when 91 Panawag Indians gathered for a 3-day feast with 52 colonists were deer, geese, ducks, and different species of fish. If cranberries were on the table, it would have been for their red color, not cooked with sugar as we eat them today. Potatoes hadn't even arrived in the colonies yet, so nobody was eating mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, sweet potatoes, or whipped potatoes. And apples, not native to North America, were not even in New England at the time. And even if they had an oven in which to bake them, pies, tarts, and cakes were unlikely on the menu given the unavailability of flour and the difficulty in acquiring dairy-based butter. Oh, and we do know that forks would not have been used. They weren't customary yet. So even though vegetarians and vegans are often accused of breaking tradition for not eating turkeys at Thanksgiving, if historical accuracy is the standard for being true to tradition, then anyone who eats bread, stuffing, mashed potatoes, slathered in dairy-based butter, cranberries boiled with sugar, candied sweet potatoes, apple cobbler, pumpkin pie, buttermilk biscuits, or other foods not on the menu of the first Thanksgiving is breaking tradition. To further the point, we're also breaking tradition when we eat with forks. Now, obviously, that's what I mean when I say this is a romanticized emotional response to vegetarians and vegans not eating turkeys at Thanksgiving, I should say. And interestingly, turkeys were not considered the quintessential Thanksgiving dish until the mid-20th century. That was when the USDA, at the behest of the National Turkey Federation, bred a bird with white rather than dark flesh, which happened to appeal to the public. Today, over 300 million turkeys are bred and killed for human consumption in the United States alone, 45 million of whom are killed for Thanksgiving alone. Creating a beautiful Thanksgiving menu that reflects our values, honors tradition, and draws from all the riches of the fall harvest is easy and not very different from what most of us grew up with. You can make a few tweaks by using non-dairy butter, non-dairy milk, and vegetable stock instead of animal-based versions, and the side dishes remain the same. So take note, non-vegan friends and family, non-vegetarian friends and family. There are a few things you can do, and no one would know the difference. As for the main dish, I believe that what people are attached to is a beautiful centerpiece on the table and a focal point on the plate, which is easily accomplished, for instance, with a gorgeous stuffed squash. It could be acorn squash or butternut squash, or individual pot pies, or soup or stew or some kind of casserole served in a ramekin or a hollowed out pumpkin. The point is, a focal point is what we're used to. Most of us were conditioned to believe that the centerpiece and the focal point had to be animal-based meat, but I really think that most people would agree that vegetables are so much more conducive to being stuffed than a bird is, and it's so much more colorful, so much prettier, so much more about the harvest, and of course, way more traditional because As we said, turkeys were not served that first Thanksgiving. Of course, dessert options are never lacking, ranging from pies and cakes and cobblers to crisps and cookies and breads. I have lots of recipes in my Joy of Vegan Baking. I have lots of recipes for an entire Thanksgiving menu in my 30-day vegan challenge. These are just some of the dishes: the green salad, cornbread, biscuits, roasted Brussels sprouts, mashed rutabagas, fresh corn, cranberry relish, traditional bread stuffing, green beans, mashed potatoes and gravy, and the stuffed squash I mentioned. This is what we enjoy at our annual Thanksgiving we host in our home. All of our friends pick a different dish to bring, and it's a veritable feast. If you are hosting and you're the vegan in the family, don't underestimate how your family will respond. Give them the benefit of the doubt because this is different for them. They think it's very different for them. But if you agree to cook, it means they don't have to, and who can resist someone else cooking for the holiday meal? There's lots to say about how to navigate the social aspects of holidays and meals, and you can find more in my book, The Joyful Vegan. But for me, what characterizes Thanksgiving is gratitude and community and the abundance of the autumn harvest, whatever meaning we attribute to this holiday. Its significance is most certainly enhanced by creating food-based rituals that affirm rather than take life, that demonstrate compassion and empathy, and that celebrate the fact that neither our values nor an animal need be sacrificed in order to partake in this holiday meal. And may it be so.